Hello, dear readers of my book Азбука истины, ABC of Truth, and the viewers of my channel Kulanov Vyacheslav. My name is Vyacheslav Kulanov. Today I will present you a real iconostasis of Rus, and we will knock the final nail in the coffin of Christianity to all the religions, sects, including the Slavs. Well, what do we already know? All Slavic academies are opened by Christian priests, already replaced ones, priests of the substituted faith. There was Christianity, which later became Christianity. By the way, there was also Slavianity, and it became Slavism. I have already told you about this more than once. What do we know for sure? We really know that all Slavic academies are opened by the Vatican through the Kiev Mohylia Academy. Mr. Pizhikov told me about it many times. We had a very interesting conversation and discussion on this topic. All Slavic academies are opened by the Vatican. I draw your attention and the attention of Slavic sectarians. Open your favorite Wikipedia that you like very much and read it. It says, all Slavic academies were opened by Christians after the faith had been changed. The changed faith, or substituted faith, and fictional Slavs became the reality of our world. Where was His Holiness born from? We all know for sure. Well, we were a little undertaught. The Holy Roman Empire, which differs from the Roman Empire by the word holy, is the Second Reich. The Third Reich attacked the Soviet Union in 1941. And the First Reich is a fiction. This is paganism, supposedly paganism and Slavism. This word has also been perverted. Paganism is actually a linguistic construction, and our icons remind us of the old ones. Let me remind you that my channel is not a cult. My channel is atheism. My book tells you how atheistic real things were turned into idolatry. I repeat that all Slavic academies are opened by the Vatican through the Kiev Mohylia Academy. The Romanovs, after they staged a coup, after they finished off Russia near Poltava, they opened them. The teachers of their children opened all the Slavic academies. What was the purpose? Well, in order to tell us that we do not have our native language, but that everything came from Greek and Latin words. The academy is called the Slavic Greek Latin Academy. It was called filthy at that time. Now they say that the children of the poor allegedly studied there, but in fact that's because everything had been perverted there, and the children of the poor people were taught there in order to break the last carrier. Hence Lomonosov comes. Slavic academies are opened by the Vatican through the Kiev Mohylia Academy. How can you stay here and say that you are a Slav? I will tell you what is Slovyanism. It's the Russian construction of the words yan, in. These are the Russian rules of such Russian concepts, Russian images. Pay attention to images. Images are already in our concept. It's like some kind of sacred board. No, it's not. I'm talking about images. You can open any kid's ABC. You can see a watermelon, a stork next to different letters. The same thing. It's the atheist thing. I repeat, Slavic academies are opened by the Vatican through the Kiev Mohyla Academy. The first rake of Slavic paganism is in a fiction. It did not exist. They came up with it so that they wouldn't find the things I'm going to show you today, so that you wouldn't find it. All sorts of 49 letters invented there, 45. This is also fiction. You won't be able to pronounce them with one sound. One sound, one letter. What is all this done for? The main thing is to destroy us. To destroy the Rus. They come up with a bunch of words about different life here. We say in Russia, in Ukraine. In Russian, we have the preposition na. You need to know, you need to be an educated person at least a little bit to understand why we say like this. All Slavic academies are opened by the Vatican through the Kiev Mohyla Academy. The Vatican got there first. The people were Russian in Kiev, but the Vatican had already entered these academies. Let's get back to the year 1240. Kiev had been attacked, and the Qataris had been attacked too. This was the first step of the Second Reich, the real Second Reich. The First Reich is a fiction. Read how Qatarians had been killed. You will understand a lot of things, what things had been done with Kiev. It lives in the people that our soul is immortal, but in Christianity, it's not like this. In Christianity, the soul is not immortal. You get either in heaven or in hell. These are absolutely different concepts. You won't be born here anymore. The reincarnation is a physical fact. You don't have to believe in it. Reincarnation is a physical fact. Read Michael Newton. A lot of people who, well, you can even feel it in your soul and in your heart. But you are told there's heaven and hell. And indulgence is everywhere. Just read how Protestantism had appeared. All Slavic academies are opened by the Vatican. Slavonic academies were opened by Christianity. If we expose Christianity, it means automatically we expose Slavism. It's not enough that there is no such thing, but it's even more. It won't be even funny to think about it anymore. One thing gave birth to another. An idea for not being found in a real Christianity, we didn't find the real Russian teachings. What are these Russian teachings? Well, in brief, I made a separate film, St. Andrew's flag. Andrea. An means night. D means two. Rea. Andre. A land. Half border table from the Russian words. I told you about the axle bands and a lot of different things. The yard of the Apostle Andrew are designed to determine the coordinates. The real flag of the Rus is not the tricolor, black, yellow, white, which is the Romanov flag. The Romanovs destroyed the Rus. Now we have Rusici running around with their flags. Vertical, horizontal. The all-seeing eye, the next atheistic moment of the atheistic astrophysical calendar, which you can see with your eyes, like this here. March the 1st, we forgot about the man's summer. They argue therefore 7,500 summers of years in Russian play of words, both words meaning years, but leto or summer has the same root as the year. 1 year has 2 summers. There are 2 summers in 1 year. March the 1st, men's summer, September the 1st, women's summer. You only need to know our real images, atheistic images. The sun rises in the bosom of Nevsky Prospect. There is a film about it. I filmed it on March the 1st as the sun rises there in the bosom of the Nevsky Prospect. 13 means the number of hell, supposedly. Well, it's the number of hell, because there are some demons there, but the devil has become some kind of negative character, because it's difficult for the stupid ones. It's always like that. When your head doesn't assimilate something, immediately it cannot catch some things. Some people watch my films and call it a sect. So I can say that you are fools. Your brains just do not allow you to understand some physical things. The all-seeing eye, the sun, rises in the bosom of Nevsky Prospect on March the 1st. Astrophysical calendar was there because there was no smartphones or something. For example, if you need to start sowing, so you start some pendulous affairs on the field on May the 1st. The sun rises on the arrow of Vasilevsky Island. Everyone knows that. It's time to start the pendulum business, and so on and so forth. Everything about each fact is described in detail in my books, in my films as well. 13 is the number of constellations in the ecliptic. This is astronomy. Astrology means zodiacs, 12 zodiacs. But in fact, above our head, above us, every night we can see 13 constellations in 24 hours. 13 constellations above us. Astrologers are liars, as well as tarologists. There are 33 trumps, not 22. The real number of the real constellations, in order to be convenient to work with the years of the Apostle Andrew and memorize some objects known to determine their coordinates. 66.6 is also a well-known number forbidden by the Church, a diabolical number. In fact, this is the angle of inclination of our planet, of the planet to the ecliptic, when the rays work. You need to know that. Some more details. Alexandrian column. The apex of the Andrean column. Alternatives historians are so stupid as they pervert it in all the possible ways. I turn to them in a good way. Help me to tell me the truth, but everyone is shaking for their hype and their money, which is dripping on their channel. No honor, no conscience, no sense of duty to the motherland. Well, of course, if the homeland is the Vatican, that's how they work. Oh, there's all these Hineviches, Sundakovs, Levashos. They're just some people who lie. They are simply the Rus destroyers. Yeah, they are Russians, but they are not Russian people. Russia, following the results of the Northern War, became known like this after the Muscovy had been renamed, after the Rus had been finished off near Poltava. The Muscovites finished off Rus. I shot the most detailed film about it. I went out for several days in a row. and I showed the sunrise in the morning. I physically told you everything, how the apex and gray-square column works. Read what apex is in geometry. It's not difficult, just open it, search in the internet and read what the apex is. Well, who's sectarian here now? Sectarians are those people whose brains are short and stupid, who do not think straight. And for you, all the sciences and all real facts means a sect. Quantum science is what? The main sect. How about the nuclear physics, aircrafts, construction? It's simple. All astrophysical phenomena of the calendar are described in detail in Rome. All the objects are revealed. There is a separate film in Jerusalem, in Athens, and in St. Peter, of course. I showed you how to use the example of working with the program of SunCalc and understand the entire astrophysical calendar. Work for yourself, take your city, study, make movies and upload. It's very interesting. At least move a little for the sake of rules. In Jerusalem, the Wailing Wall was laid so as not to see the apex of the Andrean column, and it was demolished. Then a Russian candle was built next to it. This is a very interesting story. This is a real battle for the knowledge of the Rus. And all the biblical characters are buried, from Jesus to the Virgin Mary, in the Dominus Fleet Church. It's in Jerusalem. It's simple. Search on the internet if you don't believe it and read about it. All the tombs are there. They're ruined and empty. The Christians did their best. Now, I've called not only some Christians, but all the religions. They all do not benefit from this. Judaism, in the first place. Let's move on to what I have here. The real iconostasis of Rus. Atheistic iconostas. You don't need to pray on it. This is the alphabet, the real Russian alphabet. You ask how to teach kids. Easy. I try to restore everything. Tarantas is restored. Here in Dominus Flevit, by the way. These are the tones in the Tarantas, which means a mountain, a full, a whole. Everything is described in detail in my book. All the icons on these are shown. It's spazura. They are all here. It's very expensive to print. This canvas is artificial. It cannot be torn. Twice as many images actually lie in Tarantas. Here they are twice as small respectively, but the same ones. This is where everything is painted, all of them are here. Days of the week, everything in the world, month, holidays, game deck. 4 fatherlands. That's what I tell you. What do we see here? Now it's called local rank or holiday rank. Jesus rank. The prophetic fatherly rank. Now I'm gonna tell you how it all works. There are 10 days of the week. They start here. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Subotnica, Semyatnica, Voskresnica. Sunday is the 8th day. Devyatnica, also everything I told you about it. I'll not stop here. Dekadnica. Deka, you see? The entrance to the altar is drawn here. Here it coincided. 5 on one side, 5 on the other side. There here, and here another 5 again. Holiday season. Kind of that. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio. In the middle is an Ophiuchus. The Last Supper are the month around the Ophiuchus. The constellations or month around the Ophiuchus are the Last Supper. Letters. Yan, in. Yan, in are original. Using approval or something modified. Using the mark Y. A. Y. A. B. Strengthened, changed to that. P. V. F. Letters of the Russian alphabet. Open sound. Changed to Y. Strangled M. Without opening mouth, only through the nose. It's drawn like this here. There is a number of old ancient documents, I also wrote about this, where is still not some other letter. From David O, add Y, and you'll have Yo, and so on and so forth. It's very simple. There must be 33 letters. Here's another one. Here 34. The miracle of Metropolitan Mykola is inserted here twice. Here are all the icons of the 10th or 16th century. They had been inserted 2 times because of the output of the same letter. If here they go to E and Y, like we have in the Ukraine. This is the output of one letter. Double E with the dot like this. That's the correct Russian letters with the dot. Y with without a dot and with a check mark. Ian Hrest. Not Jan, this is correct. Jan Hrest. Yin Hrest. This is correct. Jan in, this is how they say. Ian, Ioan, the wordplay. King of Heaven, the Queen of Heaven. Here are 3 letters here. One of them is also considered a letter. I could leave here an empty space, but I will just repeat it twice. I showed how women had been redrawn. That's the Marxist heresy, medvrach. Because they do not say woman, doctor, they say medvrach in Russia. Malka goes from here. Malka is the angle of measurement. Russian grammar rule. Rot Rus. A worn out clock destroyed icon. Anthology. Star. Judge. Fate. Freak. Forerunner. Yurklina. The upper one had been changed to the lower one. Here the women's letter and the men's letter and icons. Icons that are allegedly in the third or fourth generation were considered like common icons. Isus or Jesus, wordplay, is the icon of soft power. Jesus stems from here. There is also an icon of Augustus Cancer. It looks like cancer, doesn't it? It's very interesting. Let's take a closer look. Pay attention to the quality. The Queen and the King of Heaven. I stuck these things in here. Now I will tell you why. Jesus, the crown, the Tower of Rod. This icon had been turned into a nativity scene later. Why do we have to call each other by their names? Because in the Caucasus there are such towers, like generic towers or family towers. Let's start with the order. Let's go from here. Monday, Tuesday, like I said, right? To Friday. Saturday, Dekadnitsa. These are our 10 days of the week. Вечер, Ra. Not Vechora, but Vechera. Ra means the stars of the ecliptic, 13 constellations of the ecliptic Ra. Ra doesn't mean the sun. Then June, July and August. Here is August Cancer. Reminds you of something, right? Cancer. September. October. Eye. An eye, yes. Can you see the eye? November. December. Here's the plot. The good news about a pregnancy, then she gives birth. She doesn't die, but gives birth instead. Thanks to this icon, this is Nevsky Prospect, half repainted. The sun is born, Martel, and the bosom of Nevsky Prospect is an all-seeing eye. Apparel or April. Apparels are placed there so that the objects could not be washed away by the spring waters. Mayata or Mai, the business starts, the troubles, the economy, and the seed will sprout. June, sniveling in Russian. Plants are tied up, sniveling, Nini, Lily. June the 1st, it's the Children's Day. July 1 is a toy day, International Toy Day. Cancer, a dance eater. September, hay is packed and they invited to school. Out of the darkness, they show how they point to the cross of the Apostle Andrew. Here's the new canoe is being dried. You see how they pull it out with the towel, supposedly. In fact, it is the captains who have gathered and are pulling out the ships in November and closing the navigation. Here you also need to know what is good. There is a good birth and good destruction. She gave birth, that means the blessing. First there was the birth, then it turned into destruction. Here are the letters. That's what we should teach our kids about. It's very simple. Here's the icon of the goddess. She gives birth, then the loop gives and the loop takes it away. The mother is standing here, the monthly period is flying. Dove, the Queen of Heaven, has a dove in her hands. The Queen of Heaven, the King of Heaven transmits it to the people. The King of Heaven passed the textbook. The Queen of Heaven passes the dove, a symbol of life. I told you about the temple of Pseglavets. The Queen of Heaven, again. You have to ask the Queen of Heaven for a kid if you want to pray to icons. The image here, it's necessary to ask her. The four fatherlands: Georgian fatherland, Kazan fatherland, Vladimir fatherland, the German fatherland, Mother of God Theodora, who, the one with the diamonds on her forehead, goes here. Any compass from top, you can see Bubi, which means north. Hitler was looking for his roots in the north. This is about this. They just spat on our icons and that's it. The Tatars betrayed Russia because they fell under Islam. Now Georgians and but even then, we had been substituted with the Christianity. Let's now look here. What I put here, what do we see? What do we see here? These are the standard icons that can be seen in every car, in every house, among the people who believe or even not believe, but people still buy it just to have something, just in case. Here's the character. Yeah, that's where I stopped. It's an interesting coincidence. You see, an icon for treatment, right? And next to the letter N and O. And that's the way they go in the alphabet: M, N, O, K, L, M, N, O. An interesting coincidence, right? Here she is, but this is not the mother of God, I've already said. Here she is with a dove in her hand. Here she is. Here the pigeon is flying. Whether she get pregnant or not, it's up to the monthly period to decide. Here are the 3 icons, 1, 2, 3. That's the order they all stand everywhere in Russia. I told you. Well, I have already told you about it in the film about Pseglavets. This lady had been turned into the Mother of God at the 3rd cathedral. At the 5th cathedral they made a virgin out of her. They all voted she was a virgin. The first council, or at the first cathedral, the wordplay in Russian, Jesus had been turned into a god. This Jesus had been turned into a god, and they placed him instead of the Queen of Heaven. How? You can see that's a woman. Well, you can see on all the icons that this is a woman. They just painted a beard to the woman and inserted a book. But there should be a dove or a bull instead. The King of Heaven. All the icons of supposedly St. Nicholas, the wonder worker, is actually true. Here they are all sitting. This is the King of Heaven, who had been painted with a hat. I have already told you about an armillary sphere, a globe was pulled over his head, and I have already explained this. The icon of Peter and Paul as they opened the navigation. I have already told you about this icon. Here they are standing and their lodged head is lying. In fact, this globe, I found an icon with an unmarked globe with an armillary sphere. So here's the deal, that's the way it goes. This character is the Queen of Heaven. It had been repainted with a beard. This is the King of Heaven, Nicholas the Wonder Worker. Here are the icons standing in full height. And the Marxist heresy is here too, in full height. Here they are, not made with hands. Anyway, this is the second change. And so, it is already wrong to apply something to draw here with the body. But again, they voted for this at some council. For real, here's how to portray it in a correct way. They cannot be made with hands. They are carried by an angel because it's impossible to draw them. You can't draw the God. This is not the God but the King of Heaven, the Queen of Heaven. Here are the real ancient icons. On the young cross, the angels look at each other. On the in cross, they look in different directions. How to distinguish all these old icons? I repeat, these are the icons from the 10th to the 16th century. This is Our Lady. This is the Mother of God, which later are presented. Georgian, Kazan, Vladimir, Fodorovskaya, Mothers of God. This Mother of God, or the motherland and the fatherland of every fatherland had been turned into the Mother of God. The Mother of God does not exist. There is the Queen of Heaven, Yin of Cross and Yang of Cross. Here she has the dove. You need to ask her to get pregnant and have kids, if you believe in any sacred qualities of these icons. Anyway, it's just images, It is on the pendants where they should be depicted, on the crosses. Here it is. Later, they started to stick it in there, on the crosses, on the pendants. It is the correct way to depict them. And now, if you look at the modern crosses, you can find such pendants that I have restored. I restored the pendants here with Yin Hresta and Yang Hresta. Here you see on my beloved wife the pendant of the Yin cross. You saw on me the Yang Hresta. Christianity means to carry Yan and Yin. I answer to the general question. Азбука истины and Азбука истины Rus, that's the same book, just with a continuation, where the word Rus, respectively, the book had been expanded by 8 chapters. The audio book is also called Азбука истины, ABC of Truth. Азбука истины Rus is available only in the printed version. You can ask me for that. So here I say goodbye to you. All the displayed artifacts can be purchased from me, including my book Азбука истины Rus, ABC of Truth. We bring the light, we multiply the mind.